course, I want to start by clearing my throat, and then of course briefing you that you have to stay sober because the times are evil. The times are so evil, and you have to stay sober, especially if you're staying around Nairobi region, the East Africa. Stay sober like a gazelle in the savannah at night, the East African savannah. Anyway, today I wanna inform you, man. I'm the captain IT, and I have to inform you something pertaining information. The first step in information is eradicating barriers to communication. So, straight head on. Let us start with women. Why do you really jumping into conclusion? Look at this lady, the way she's jumping into conclusion. So you as a normal person, you don't really have to make assumptions or stereotypes before you clearly make out what that person was trying to say. Someone tries to tell you something, but you think that you know it before it's said. You're not Jesus, you're not God, you're not any other form of spirit. So stay down, listen to what he or she is saying, man. Another thing is feedback. If you're not going to give me feedback, what am I going to be communicating to you? Why? What will be the reason for communicating to you? So one of the things that makes communication work is feedback. Just give me feedback. So if you're asked for feedback, please give us feedback. So as a form of feedback, please comment on the comment section below and tell me what do you think about these things. Another aspect of barrier to communication is the physical barrier, man. Things like hills, things like bushes, they really jeopardize our communication. If I'm on the other side of the hill or I'm on the other side of the bush, probably won't be able to listen to what I'm talking about, considering that some bushes have wind moving air, and of course other things like physical blindness. We have another one like a physical barrier like deafness and other forms of that disability. You have to consider such aspects and be careful about them. Another thing, lack of attention and interest. If you're speaking to a person who really lacks interest in whatever you're teaching or whatever you're talking about, let them go. Let them be a person who is able to design the external environment and tell if someone is bored. For example, look at that lady. That lady is no longer listening to anything because probably she's thinking of ways of jumping into conclusion pertaining boyfriend stuff or any other stuff, where to get money, how to raise kids. So be considerate in whenever you are talking to people who don't have rather attention. Now, another thing is emotional barriers. You could be speaking to someone who has high emotions that can be caused by psychological barriers. We also have someone who's suspicious and prejudiced. You're talking to someone who's like, Ahezitulia. Someone cannot control his or her own body expressions. And of course, some of these examples include anger. Someone could box you out of existence just because you said something wrong. So that will jeopardize communication. Another one is fear. Some people really fear stage fright. If you have stage fright, learn to deal with it. That's not a good thing. It's not. Anyway, it's not. So another one is anxiety and jealousy. Jealousy is something so bad. It's spoken of by the Bible. Jealousy is bad. Although our God is a jealous God. Pride is the worst. Pride, if you have pride, okay, self-pride is good, but if you have the other external pride, I have nothing to say, man. Go get rid of that. Another one is the noise and distraction. If you are in the city trying to learn, I wonder what on campuses students usually do. Because outside the street you have aircrafts moving, you have traffic snarls, you have people screaming, especially if you're in Nairobi, you have a lot of touts screaming all over the place. Police, tear gas, maandamano, azimio. Anyway, noise and distraction is a very massive barrier in communication. It's a massive barrier. And then of course we have this person. If you a person who is used to adding Lumumbic jargons everywhere in English, bringing in phrases that have catastrophic meanings. Before I fetch the dictionary, you've already brought in another jargon or another phrase that makes no sense in an ordinary mwananchi. Please, come on, use normal English so that you can make sense. Use normal English so that you can make sense. Do not use that. Do not over-exaggerate. Yes, you know, it causes your English to lack clarity. Come on. Anyway. And then cultural barriers. We have a lot of cultures all over the world, and remember to have sense whenever you're traveling. have that cloak that tells you that you're now in another community. Please learn before you express what you believe. Learn what they believe before you express yourself. For example, in some communities, they don't believe in a woman talking to a man directly or commanding them. In some communities, they don't believe in shaking hands. So there's a lot more to do with cultural things that can bar communication. And please visit the Kalenjin culture and learn something from them. We have the language barrier. Of course, you cannot be speaking Korean to a Gujarati person. You cannot be speaking Kalenjin to a Chinese. You cannot be speaking English to a Khoisan. It will not make sense. You can't speak alien language to human. So please be considerate to that and try to adapt. You have as a person. So let us see how we are going to adapt to these changes, man. How will you deal with how to overcome these barriers? Of course, it will require the Holy Spirit to intervene, because these things are so hard. These things are so hard. Now, overcoming these barriers requires a stupendous amount of awareness. Yes, the second one is you require awareness. You require a large level of awareness. You require active listening. You have to listen. Boys of today do not listen by any chance. Regards to Dr. Obuhuma. And then empathy. If you're not empathic, you don't make sense. You lack judgment. You lack discernment. Poor judgment. The willingness to adapt. You have to always want to adapt to any environment. For example, you have to adapt to the fact that you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Otherwise, guys, promote, subscribe. If you enjoyed this and this helped you, please subscribe.